back to the house here with the bike after our first little tune-up. We'll go from there. Well, then enjoy the little scenery for the next 30 seconds, and we'll go from there as we ride our Roadstar 1700 back to the house, and we'll do some spring checkups for you. The bikes over the winter and how to get everything done in the spring. So we'll just get the kickstand on over here. Wow, what a beautiful day it is here. We're in Ottawa, Canada. Actually, we're in Carleton Place, but it's a beautiful day. We got the bikes out. We're getting some spring work done to them, and we'll go through some of the different aspects of what to check on your bike when you're pulling it out in the spring. Get it out there in the warm, the warm weather, the hot roads and stuff like that. So we'll go from there. So here we are with the 1700 here again. Beautiful machine. It's been sitting most of the winter. We've maintained it with buddy Luke over here for most of the winter. So we'll go through some of the stuff that we'll want to do. Number one thing you really want to check is you want to check your tires, your brakes, your oil level. If you have an air-cooled engine like this one, there's no fluid level to check as far as antifreeze coolant goes. But this one here is air-cooled, as I said. We also have other engines that are liquid-cooled. So you want to check the radiator, you want to check the fluid level in the radiator, make sure there's no leaks and stuff like that. So let's head over to the bike over here. Number one thing that we really want to check is the condition of the tires. This tire here is fairly brand new. As you can see, there's still a lot of rubber nipples on there. You want to check the condition of the tire, making sure there's not too much feathered wear onto the sides. Okay, checking the cracks, making sure there's no cracks, air pressure, checking the condition of the rim. We move over here, we'll check over the condition of the brakes. If you're mechanically inclined and you want to do stuff on your own, go ahead, take the caliper off if you can, check the condition of the brake pads, make sure that they're not cracked or chafed or anything like that. Checking the condition of the rotors as well is extremely important as well. Another thing you want to check on is making sure that everything on the bike is tight. Over here we've got crash bars, brake pedal, exhaust systems, everything, floorboards. You want to make sure that the condition of these things are in good condition, nice and tight, because with the vibrations they do tend to get loose over time. It's just a typical thing on motorcycles. You're checking the operation of your throttle cables, you're checking the operation of the front brake, making sure everything works. We're going to go through some of the aspects of all this. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go from the front to the back and we'll make sure everything goes good. One of the things we're going to do in this bike is we'll check the oil level. Now on a lot of bikes what they do is if we move over to this old bike over here, a lot of them have a view glass. Come and have a quick peek right down here. You will see here there's a view glass, okay? This is where the oil level would be. If you tilt the bike over, you'll see that the oil will start to come up. Now you see there's a lower level and an upper level. The upper level indicates that the oil level is at a good level. We just did an oil change on this guy and it's ready to go. The reason you want to make sure the oil level is fine is because you would not want to have engine seizure happening while you're riding a bike, because if the engine decided to seize up on you, you could lock up the back wheel and that could cause an accident. So you really want to make sure that that's okay. We'll move back to the Roadstar over here, whereas it's a different setup. On this bike, it has a separate oil tank, which is designed to cool off the oil and get everything set up differently. Now, I'm just trying to get my seat done up here. This guy here, we pull the seat off, we move all the mechanism down here, and we have the oil filler level, sorry, over here. So this guy here, we want to make sure that everything is nice and filled to the top. So we'll bring the bike up. The first thing we'll do is we'll take the oil level out. This here is a dipstick. We'll get this out, and we'll go from there with a rag. We'll wipe it off. We'll make sure it's nice and clean. Now, if you look at the dipstick, there's hex marks over here. These hex marks represent the safe zone. If the oil is within these marks, you're safe. If it's not within these marks and you don't see any registration, there's a huge problem. Now what we want to do with this bike is we want to stand it up straight as we can, and we'll just dip the oil stick back in there, get the dipstick in there again, and then we turn it, and we'll check it out again. If you look at the level, we're at a great level over here. Everything's great, so there's lots of oil in there. Everything here is safe to go and good to go. That's one of the first things you want to check. Then we'll check everything else. So we'll put this back together. Now remember, you want to check everything as per specifications that are indicated in the booklet that came with your bike, your owner's manual. I also suggest to a lot of people to go out there and buy the shop manual for that bike specifically, so you can get a lot more details on things you want to do. Another thing we want to check on this bike is the belt drive. It is a belt-driven motorcycle, so it consists of a rubber belt, which is right down here. If you look at the back, you can actually see the belt over here. And this belt's in good condition. They usually last, you probably get about 8 to 10 years out of them, or about 100,000 miles, depends on the situation. Now if you look down here, there is what we call, okay, the guards has an indicator on the amount of room, the tension that this belt moves. Now this one's got good tension on it and it's good to go. We've adjusted all that already. Everything's been set. But most of the time, they get readjusted as the tire wears out because they have to remove the belt if the tire is done. So that's all taken care of. Again, another thing you want to look at is your spark plugs. In this bike, they're all the way in here. There's 4, so you got 2 per cylinders. It is a V-twin air-cooled engine. Again, go with the manufacturer's specifications. Get the spark plugs that are right for your bike. Quick tips again. Gear shifter down here. This is what we call the toe heel shifter. Not all bikes have it. We'll go over to this bike over here. It's got just a toe shifter. Okay? These model bikes, which are still made today with these types of engines and shifters, are very common when you're just using the thing. You want to make sure everything's tight. You want to make sure the linkage is good. It's very, very important. Another aspect is checking the head bearings over here. The head bearings are over here. Usually this consists of lifting the bike up, grabbing the forks and moving them back and forth to make sure that there's no play in the head bearings. And you also move your head, your steering wheel, right side to the left side to make sure there's not binding or anything stopping it. If it's a smooth movement, the bearings are usually pretty much okay. But if you're not sure about it, bring it to your local mechanic and have it checked out. So this is pretty much it for the rides. You want to make sure your rides is safe to go in the spring. You know, you want to check your lights and everything. Pardon?
Air pressure.
Oh, air pressure in the tires, yes. I believe I did mention that, but you want to check both tires. Air pressure in the tires is okay. It's got to be done. Checking your brakes, that's all done as well. So enjoy the spring, and let's hope you guys get out there and get some safe riding. We'll see you next time.